Welcome to the Energy Upgrade Podcast.
I'm your host, Vanessa, master biohacker and successful entrepreneur.
Your time is now. Your energy is your life force. You want to be able to magnetize your wildest dreams. You can and you will.
Well, hello, my friend. Happy Tuesday, and welcome back to another episode of the Energy Upgrade. This is Vanessa Grutman, your host. And today I'm joined by two beautiful souls for what was a very fun conversation. Now, I know by the title, you're like, okay, I know, toxins and we live in a toxic world, but we tried to make this conversation really fun, light, uplifting, and most importantly, empowering. Now, I am joined by two women, Michelle Gault and Enisa Phipps, who have started the brand called Clean Face. They are both the co-owners, and they were joined together today for this conversation about why it matters. And that's really my intention, is to shed light on why it matters to look for non-toxic things to put on our body, on our skin, to the point that we could almost eat it. Because when we know better, we do better. So this conversation is not meant to be shameful or anything like that. You know, I come from 12 years in the medical aesthetic industry and skincare industry. So I know what options are offered, and I know what I used to recommend myself. And turns out, now that I've learned, now that I've really have done a deep dive into this, I choose differently now. And so there's, again, no shame in that. It's really just awareness. And with awareness comes more power, more self-empowerment. Now, I want to tell you a little bit more about Michelle and Anissa before we jump in. So Michelle is, like she says it, 50 years young. She embodies a dynamic blend of entrepreneurial spirit, corporate leadership, and passion for sustainability. She has had a decade-long tenure as the senior vice president of product at Herschel Supply Company, a brand that you probably know, a beautiful brand. And so she has a wealth of experience when it comes to product innovation, brand strategy, global market expansion. And so she played a pivotal role in the company's being globally recognized as a lifestyle brand known for its iconic designs and commitment to quality. And so now she is loving, as she lives in BC, just like Enisa, and she is just loving this new venture where there's more passion for sustainability and the holistic well-being. She is an avid athlete and advocate for healthy living. She understands the importance of mindful consumption and the impact of what we put into and onto our bodies. Now, Enisa is a trailblazer in the clean beauty industry, leading with passion and purpose. As the co-founder of Clean Face, she champions eco-friendly beauty solutions while empowering women to embrace their natural selves. Inspired by the birth of her children and her personal story of skin issues, Enisa, with Michelle, set out to create a company that offers an alternative to toxic beauty products on the market. After a successful career in the corporate world, she transitioned to entrepreneurship, building and selling multiple businesses. Her dedication to sustainability and excellence drives her innovative approach at Clean Face. So you can see how these two powerhouses joined forces to create a masterpiece, literally. And I can't wait for you to learn more about Clean Face and hear from them their passion, and you'll be able to feel it, their passion for this non-toxic living, for sustainability, for clean beauty, and all the things. So let's go and dive into this beautiful conversation. Enisa and Michelle, I am so excited to have you here on the Energy Upgrade. This is going to be such a fun conversation. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Yay. So, co-founders, owners of Clean Face, a wonderful brand that I've got to trial and experiment myself. And I wanted to have a conversation today about non-toxic skincare. You know, I'm passionate about non-toxic living. And of course, skincare is just, it really matters, especially for women, because we put so many toxins and fragrances on our body every single day. And so my intention with this conversation, and I know it's your passion too, is really to shed light on the toxicity of the skincare world. But first of all, I would love to hear like your story. How did you guys come up with this? And give to me all the juicy details.
It's actually such a full circle moment for us,
because we didn't really realize that until recently. It's actually full circle, but go ahead.
We met approximately 8-9 years ago, and we met at one of those MLM scheme sort of events where we were conned into, going to this women's wine event. And we were both like, great. And we showed up, started drinking wine. And then, the sales pitch came out, and I won't name what brand it was, but
it was skincare.
And both of us looked at each other and we were like, wait, what? Why are we here? And why are we doing this?
I thought we were here for wine.
Yeah. And so we drank wine and we connected. And Michelle's background, I'll let you tell your
I was
background.
SVP of product for Hershey Supply. And I started like a decade ago, and there was 12 of us that started out with Herschel. And then I had a team of about 47 people kind of all over the world. And so I knew how to make product. That was kind of my thing. I definitely knew how to make product, and you definitely knew how to.
Well, and I come from marketing and advertising. So, we bonded 8-9 years ago, however long that was, over something that we really weren't into, and our relationship grew. And during COVID, we actually were in the back to drinking wine. We were in the midst of actually opening up a clothing line because we're both passionate about, the way we present ourselves and the way we show up, and with our backgrounds and our love for everything nice fashion. We thought that would be so fun to create something that was contemporary and easy and attainable and just not junk. We were so tired of pure junk. Junk is constantly being fed to us through beauty, through clothes, through, everything that we're not. We're constantly being told we're not enough. So in the midst of all of that, we were both struggling with skin, probably too much wine, combination of stress, and, the year of 2020 that everybody went through.
Yeah.
And we really wanted to make something for our skin. We thought, well, we're doing all of this. We know how to source. We know how to do all these things. Why not just try to make something for ourselves? And we spent probably 3-4 months playing around with a bunch of different ingredients and importing ingredients all over the world until we came up with a formulation that was shockingly so good.
Yeah.
And then our friends started stealing it.
Yeah.
And actually,
then we started selling it to them.
Yeah, we started selling it off, like, we bought these like cheap little Amazon bottles.
Like the white ones or whatever.
Like the ones that scratch. They were very awful. And we started selling them to our friends just out of, the back of our car, basically. And our clothing business took, kind of a backseat when we realized the more we researched and the more we learned about the beauty industry and how things worked, we recognized the need for just an honest, clean beauty brand to emerge that cut through all of that other, thick crap. Just give you something that actually works.
And then oddly, it's become where Enisa is more doing the product and I'm more doing the marketing.
Oh my gosh. So it's like the other way around.
Yeah. It totally just, came around. So I'm 50 and Anissa's 40
in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks. And so, we just we had a lot of things going on with our skin. I had one child, she had 3. And I
had weird hyperpigmentation all over my face, like all over my cheeks. That was a huge thing. I went to lots of different laser clinics and all the medical aesthetics places. And it was always like, buy a bunch of hyaluronic acid, buy a bunch of retinol. It's going to be great for your skin. But the continuous situation that kept happening to me was my skin was breaking out. I looked awful. I was trying to hide it with foundation. I was learning how to, what is that stuff called? Contouring, like putting 50 different shades in my face.
You even did like that needle thing.
Yeah. It's like, honestly, my skin.
She did it all.
my skin was so awful and so bad. And there was nothing that seemed to help. And every time I went to a different aesthetic place, you know, somebody would be like, oh, you don't understand. Like, you just need to try this new facial. You just need to try this new thing.
There's always something new. So like in the background, here we are being botanists, basically is what I call ourselves, because we're not chemists, because we definitely don't have any chemicals and we don't have any water in our product. And then it started clearing up.
Yeah.
And then her face started to look better and better and better. And I was like, whoa, what is going on? And she's like, I'm using clean face.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you were saying it's been 2 years now.
2 years. Yeah.
That's incredible.
We started it in 2020, so it's been 4 years actually.
Yeah, like realistically.
Yeah.
But you sold from the back of your car for a couple years. Is that it? Yeah. Oh, I love it. And now you were saying you've been using the product for 2 years and your skin is just the best it's ever been.
Yeah. The best. I mean,
both of us, I would say, like, definitely with my skin. I mean, I always had super oily skin. I always had acne challenges my whole life. And this stuff is, I don't know, people hate the word magic, but we do get called that a lot.
Yeah.
It helps with eczema. It helps, there's just so many different things or applications that people use it for. And they'll come back to us and tell us all about it. And it's fantastic. It's been great.
Yeah. I mean, you can see my skin. We took off all the filters. You know how you can put the filters on Zoom? Filters. We took all the filters off. I have no makeup. I have nothing other than clean face on and some fake lashes. But other than that,
Pearls.
I have nothing on my skin other than clean face, and I don't use anything anymore. And my skin has never looked better. I'm 40 this year. My skin looks better now at 40 than it did when I was 20. And that's actually quite a huge
I would say
shock.
my skin looks better now at 50 than it did at 40.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. And I mean, this is what happens when you basically are nourishing it.
Yeah.
Right. So let's talk about the ingredients so for people listening, you have one, your gold standard product. So let's talk about that, and let's talk about the ingredients that you've discovered that are creating this magic, because clearly there's something in there that's doing the trick. So what is it?
I would say the one big standout ingredient is blue tansy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A lot of people use blue tansy individually, like they'll buy it on its own and put it into their existing products. So we already knew that blue tansy was a winner.
Yeah.
I used to work for Kona Bikes way back in my day, and I was riding bikes in Marrakesh or the Atlas Mountains actually for like a month. And I used to see all these, what I called weeds. They're like a weird yellow flower. And I was like, oh, what are these things? And then people would say to me, oh my gosh, that's blue tansy. Like, it's worth a mint. So it's very similar to us here in BC anyways, with mushrooms. We're really big on finding mushrooms in the middle of nowhere. It's the same thing with blue tansy. That's what it is. It's a flower that grows out in the wild. And you have to go find it. It's really, really difficult to find. So it's a niche, and generally speaking, a lot of people will only put in, or brands will only put in a very small amount because it is so expensive. Mm-hmm. We went the other route.
Yeah.
And you can see that with the color, but you can also smell that as well.
Yes.
So that's really, I would say, our biggest standout ingredient. And then if you mix it with
polychrysum, but it's not just the ingredients, it's really the potency. The one thing that we were shocked to find out is that majority of products only carry 1 to 4% of active ingredients ever in any skincare. And when you think about how much you need to use the product for it to actually affect change on your skin, I mean, 1 to 4% is really quite low.
Yeah.
Water, generally speaking, is the first ingredient on every single bottle that you turn around to read the ingredients on. And that was hugely surprising for us. And having an understanding of what you have to put as ingredients and where you put it in its order legally in Canada and the US, we were like, oh, wow. So the first ingredient is, anywhere from 20 to 40% of the product itself. And so you mean water?
Yeah.
And then some people would spell it French wise, which was hilarious. Like
aqua. I remember seeing aqua also, or it's like,
so interesting that that's sort of the first ingredient on everyone's back. And we were like, no, we're not doing it. So we have absolutely no water in our product.
And absolutely no chemicals.
None.
There's
zero.
no chemicals. There's no preservatives. There's nothing in there that can do anything to your skin. And our active ingredients are 23%. And
wow.
I think, going back to the 1 to 4% thing, like it makes a difference when you use a product that actually is supposed to affect the texture of your skin and change the texture of your skin and hydrate your skin and take care of your skin. It's so important to have, something that will actually do what it says it's going to do. And that's really what we did, is we took out all the other crap and we made one single product that is potent and active.
Yeah. And that's why it's called the active facial concentrate, for people that are wondering, which is kind of like a face oil.
Yes. We always say, like, replace your moisturizer. That's the easiest route for us.
100%.
Is we'll say that to people. And a lot of people, I would say in the last 2 years, what I've noticed is a lot of people, because it's called clean face, they instantly presume that means
they're cleaning their face.
It's a cleanser.
Yeah.
And so we've had some interesting conversations with a lot of people where we're like, no, it's not a cleanser. So that goes back to us, like, trying to, educate what it is. For us, clean face meant clean as in the product that we put in the bottle. That's what we meant it as. And we also meant it as your face is clean, but not in the sense of the literal of cleaning your face with it.
No.
So we say replace you as your moisturizer.
Yeah. And I can see that from having used it. It's and like you said, I love the color, like that blue hue, which is from that blue tansy, which is a very popular ingredient, especially for people that have that are acne prone. And that's why a lot of acne prone client might feel like, well, I can't be putting a face oil on my skin, but this one you actually can. Like, it actually feels good, right?
Well, I think that's a massive myth. My whole upbringing, I was told, don't put oil on because it'll just make you have more oil. But it's actually the complete opposite. And I think a lot of people are educated in that now. And so definitely that was never, for us anyways, in the last 2 years, anyone that loves essential oils was just like, give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. Like, we're acne prone. So that's been good for us. But you had something that you were reading the other day about the cancer and radiation.
Right. The combination of blue tansy and helichrysum, that's kind of how we thought of those two ingredients together. Actually are used in high concentration on breast cancer radiation treatment to prevent the skin from burning. And when you think about, or when we think about burning of skin, you think of a steak, right, in a pan. If you put a piece of flesh steak on a pan without any kind of oil of any sorts on the bottom, what is it going to do? It's going to stick and it's going to burn quite quickly.
Now we sell pots.
But when you oil it up and then you put the steak in, it's going to get a nice crisp glow to it. It's not going to burn. And I think that a lot about skin that we don't really think about is that oil actually.
I don't think anyone in the entire world would think of it that way.
But I love that analogy, and I know you're like obsessed with like grass-fed beef and all the things. So I love it.
I am obsessed actually over that. But I just, I've tried to explain it because I really enjoy having conversations with people who buy our product. Like, really, really enjoy them.
It is likely. Give you a few examples.
It is likely that if you email us a question, that it ends up to me, and I end up writing like a long essay over why you should or shouldn't do this.
She's turned every single one of them into buyers, so I can't complain.
But the one thing, the constant conversation I have is, where do I put this product in my routine? Because everybody seems to have these really
12-step
overcomplicated
routines.
And we,
who has time for that?
I use
Vanessa, seriously, how do you have time to do 12 steps? Like, what is
I don't have 12 steps. I don't have time. No.
like what? And you would not believe, like, so many people tell us every single one of their steps.
Yeah.
Like, where should this be fit in? And I'm like, good Lord. I just really want to say to them, how about get rid of all of it and just use us? But I know we can't say that.
And you know what's crazy is most of these women are, in their mid-20s, clearly, or late 20s. They're not women who really are. I mean, their skin should be the best skin that they've ever had, and that it ever will be. You think about that. It's like supple. It's full of collagen. It's
preventative. They say that a lot.
Great.
Preventative.
But they're constantly talking about preventative things, preventative Botox, preventative Restylane, preventative like
vitamin D,
retinoids, like all of these additional things that they're just putting on their skin.
Yeah.
And those two questions are constant: the hyaluronic acid and the retinol. Yeah. Two big questions is, where do I put this? And my answer is always, I don't think you need any of them. And it's really shocking, I think, for people to hear, because I think a lot of different
shocking's a good word.
Yeah. I think a lot of people try to push that, I understand majority of products these days for women carry these components, and we're educated that they're really healthy and good, but there's some really bad things that we don't talk about. Like, retinoids really thin your skin. And if you're putting retinoids on your skin when you're 20, at 40, I mean, I don't know if you've seen women with blue thinning in their skin.
That's when they're using hydroquinone. Yeah.
I mean, it's really, really awful. And it's not something that I would ever promote to somebody, saying like, that's absolutely.
We're not judging. No, I like to not judge.
We don't judge.
Too late.
We're not judging. We think it's so important to educate. I mean, if you want to use that, and that's constantly the emails that we send back, if you want to use it, make sure that you're using it in capacity that you've been told to use it by a medical professional, because we certainly don't claim to be medical professionals.
No, we are not.
But our compilation of ingredients in our product essentially is a natural version of hyaluronic acid that's extremely effective, that does hydrate your skin from inside and out, and takes care of it in a whole different level than, chemical grade, medical grade products.
Yes, for sure. And you're using like shea oil, rosehip oil, coffee bean, like you have great ingredients. And listen, I was in the medical aesthetic skincare industry since 2010. So I've had my share. I totally understand. I've seen both sides. I understand what we are also told by the reps and by the big pharma companies. And there's just this, it's so interesting, because there is just this massive elephant in the room, and nobody wants to talk about toxins. Nobody wants to talk about black box labels. Nobody wants to talk about any of that stuff, because it's like billions of dollars. And so I think it always goes back to who we are as a consumer, like taking full ownership and responsibility for what we put on our skin. The Leo sale is back. That's right. From August 5th to the 7th, you will enjoy my best sales of the year. In fact, it is the only sale of the year that I have on my coaching programs. So if you've been contemplating joining my world, do not miss this 72-hour event. And to kick things off, I'm excited to be hosting the Ceremonial Salon, which will be a celebration to actually open the Lionsgate portal, the most important time of the year for high vibe manifestation. I will teach you, and I will take you into this vortex with me, so we can open up this field of possibilities for all of us. Now, the Leo Sale Celebration, this is my second edition, and I'm excited to offer it for all high-achieving women who are wanting to raise their impact, who are wanting to raise their energy, their abundance, and their sovereignty into this lifetime. I have so many different offers to present to you, including some brand new, exciting opportunities to join my world. I am so excited. I cannot wait. So please save the date from August 5th to the 7th and join me during the ceremonial salon on August 5th so that we can open festivities up. We can open the celebration with a fantastic ceremony. And I'm also going to be joined by 3 extraordinary women from my world who will come and share their inspiring journey. I tell you, I have picked them because their stories are mind-blowing, and I know it is what you need to hear to reignite the fire in your soul and help you remember what you are here to do in this lifetime. I hope to see you during the Leo sale, and to get all the details, the link are in the bio below in the show notes. Please go and register so you can be the first one to get all the details. I cannot wait to host this event and really bring you into this Lionsgate portal energy. It's going to be fire. And maybe we can dive into the toxicity of the skincare world. And like you said, just use that example. Water is the first, ingredient in the majority of skincare lines. Okay, and we also know that water is so toxic. Depending, right? Are they using filtered water? Like, what kind of water is going in there? Is this just tap water? Because we know it's all for profit. So that means we can probably assume that it's tap water in there. And I don't know, but I don't want to have any tap water on my skin. I don't drink it. I will never drink it. Even when I travel, I go in great lengths. I even sometimes travel with my shower filters when I go to hotels. Can you imagine? So I'm just kind of giving that example, but this is just one ingredient. But the truth is, for example, there's a lack of regulation when it comes to this clean space, right? So people can use any labels, they can say any claim, and there's really it's the wild, wild west. There's no regulations, and that is starting to be a big problem, right? Even you using the word clean, people are not too sure. What does that mean? Does that mean it's like cruelty-free? What does it mean? Because people are using these terms now and just putting them for marketing. Like we know, for example, when they say it's green, what does that mean? It means nothing, right? So we just have to start, as consumers, we have to start taking that to the next step. And so maybe I'd love to hear you guys. I know you're totally like preservative-free, chemical-free, but do you want to talk a little bit more about this toxicity?
Was interesting to us is that you didn't have to put, if it was under 1%, you didn't have to put it on the bottle.
You didn't have
Exactly.
to. And we were like, you didn't have to put it.
Sorry, what? Like, I remember I even called our government because I was like, sorry, what do you mean? And they're like, well, that's what we mean. And we're like, so you mean like how much? Like 20% of this that is all under 1% doesn't have to be on the bottle? And they said yes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Blown away. I was like, guys, this is nuts. And they were like, what do you, and and it was a lot of, what do you mean? What do you mean? Like, there was a lot of that going on because there was a lot of
make sense, right?
Make it make sense. And so I always like the toxicity wise, for me, I always go back to when I first had my son, Parker, when I was like looking into diapers. It was the same sort of thing. Like, what's in a diaper? No one could tell me. Like, absolutely. And I was like, why not? And they're like, well, we don't need to disclose that. And I'm like, oh, wow. And so, I mean, I don't know. The only MLM thing that I loved was Beauty Counter.
Yes.
I really believed in what those women were doing. And they, to this day, they're still doing it. And that was sort of like, for me, was like a pushing point to be like, I want to be like them. Like, I want to get out there and say, this is it. Like, there is only 9 ingredients in this bottle. Like, I swear to you, Like that's it. That's all that's in there, you know? And it was amazing to me that people can put stuff in product and I don't even have to know what it is.
It's scary. It's what it is.
What? Yeah,
Well,
it is scary. And to this day, I don't know what's in a diaper. P.S.
Oh my gosh. And guess what? You do not want to know.
Well, 100% don't want to know. But
yeah, it's scary.
You know, we talked about this before too. I remember the beginning for me is I used to use grapeseed oil for everything. I used to slather it on my face. I used to cook with it. I used to do it. Like in every single aspect of my life, grapeseed oil was used. And I thought I was being so healthy and so clean and so all these things.
Mhm.
Over the last few years, we've really learned that the production process of some of these oils is a huge aspect of the quality of the ingredients that you get.
So kind of like what you're talking about with water, same idea.
Yeah, of course.
How are they producing this?
Yeah.
And how does it get to the end?
And so that was kind of a huge thing when we were looking at ingredients, because what we realized initially, our first thought was grapeseed oil, because grapeseed oil is super hydrating. It's a natural form of hydration for your skin.
It's in a lot of the products.
It's in a lot of the products we won't name that we love, you know? And then we started actually looking at their process, and it's a byproduct of winemaking. So they take the seeds and they have to use extreme heat in a very industrialized process to extract the oil out of it, which, by the way, they use hexane and methane. And it's both of those are carcinogenic ingredients, which are obviously, I mean, who would want to go put that on their skin?
Nobody.
Or in their body. Nobody.
Like, well, except for us.
Yeah,
we bought
because
it.
we were doing it. And, you know,
Well, you didn't know. You know better, you do better, right?
But it's sad that even so we went through this whole aspect of like testing the ingredients that we were getting, testing with different companies across Canada, trying to figure out what is actually healthy and why some ingredients have certain things. And the test results that would come back from some of these ingredients were mind-boggling to us. I mean, really 1 to 3% of hexane or methane is left in grapeseed oil. And we think this is healthy.
Yeah,
we think this is healthy because we're told that that's clean and that's healthy.
Yeah.
So one of the other things that we really wanted to make sure, all of our ingredients are cold distilled and steam distilled for that particular reason. It, again, comes back to the education.
Don't even get me started on organic.
Yeah.
Don't even. It's crazy.
I actually want to go there. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, so everyone always asks us, right? You know, it's 100% organic, 100% organic. It's like, well, to be fair, like blue tansy, you know, is grown in the wild.
Yeah.
Like it's not, you know, so when it's organic, let's talk about this. When it's organic, certified organic, generally speaking, it's farmed, you know, like it's built in a system that is fully contained, and they know every single aspect of it and what's happening. So then in my mind, I'm like, well, okay, hold on. I get the benefit of that, but I also get the negative of that. You know, like going back to the mushrooms, it's like, you know, okay, well, hold on. Those are the best tasting mushrooms I've ever tasted in my life. So I'm kind of confused. So the blue tansy that comes from the wild is bad. Okay, well, why is it bad? Well, it's bad because we don't know what's happening. Okay, well, so it's so interesting to me. The organic side of things is all regulated, right?
Well, yeah, and it's almost like started to be a political thing.
Yeah.
You have to pay to play, you know, with the organic world. That's also another problem.
Exactly, a huge well, what we like to call a challenge. Trying to figure it out, right? Like, where can you win? And so for us, I don't know, I go back to me being in the Atlas Mountains and seeing the blue tansy. Like, I think that to me it makes sense. That's like, other than putting it into like, you know, mass production and calling it organic, quote unquote. So yeah, so I Yeah, I've
All
got
of
I got a
these
huge
things were such a huge
eye opener.
plate.
You can imagine where we went with it.
Yeah.
Food, like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. And it changed our concept of how we source some of these things, you know. We don't source our stuff from Canadian third-party distributors. We get our product and our ingredients directly from places that they are being manufactured. They're all manufactured in small batches. They're all manufactured in ethical ways where they're utilizing the actual ingredients and they're cold or steam distilling in. And then we get a pure form of the ingredients where we don't really do much to them. We mix them together, we bottle them, we make sure that they don't oxidize, and then we sell them. And it's just going back to the roots. You know, I talk a lot about on my Instagram about, you know, grass fed, grass finished, where your food comes from, making sure that you eat cleanly, that you hydrate, that you exercise. All of these things have a huge impact on what you look like and what you exude, you know? And I think the younger generations maybe are missing that part. You can put whatever you want on your skin. If you don't take care of your body and you don't take care of, you know, your life and your lifestyle,
your stress levels,
your stress levels, your perimenopause.
Yeah. I mean, our skin is our largest organ. It is a direct reflection of what's happening inside also, right? And so, and whatever we put on it gets inside also. I want to go back quickly, you know, that 1% that you talked about, Michelle, because also let's talk about fragrances. So when they use that word, and correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I saw, it can be, you can use that word even if there's like 50 different things that are being used. You can use the label, the overarching label, fragrance, and that's all you have to disclose.
Or natural flavors, you know, soda waters, natural flavor.
Same shit.
Yeah.
I said it.
I mean, you want to get into perfumes. It's interesting, right? Like, what is in these perfumes? And good luck trying to figure it out.
Oh yeah, no, it's terrible.
Right.
But
it's like a mix, and then they can call it fragrance. You're right. You're dead on, and that's just unbelievable to me. And again, it goes back to like, who's paying these people off so that we don't have a clue what's in these things?
Yeah. I know that when I learned that, I got rid of anything that had fragrance on it. And even if it's the last ingredient, because it could be 50 more things that gets added to the list. And I don't want any of that stuff. I know that if they're not putting it, it's not good for me, because otherwise they would do a good job at letting me know. So, and on average, women are putting 35 toxins just in their morning routine on their skin, from their hair care, their body care, their makeup, their skin care. And so imagine you do that every single day. And then we wonder why there's this like rise in, you know, cancer and other issues, even like early perimenopause. Like that's all related, because it all gets like, your system at one point is like, I cannot, your liver is like, help, I cannot process all of this stuff, right? So it really matters to start looking at, and I know for people listening, it can feel overwhelming to be like, what do you mean I need to change everything? And I always say, like, start with one thing, and then eventually you'll get more bandwidth, because the mere fact of changing your skincare for something that's healthier, non-toxic, and cleaner will, believe it or not, give you more energy.
Yes.
Well,
because your body doesn't have to fight off the crap and move it out of you.
Well, let's talk about the financial investment that so many people are making into their skincare routines too. You talk about, you know, a 5, 6, 10, 20 step skincare routine, morning and night, all different. I mean, my husband made me run through an exercise back in 2020, at the beginning of 2020. And I don't know if anybody else has a crazy husband like I do, but he wanted me to do an expenditure report on all the money I was spending. My skincare, my hair, my coffees. By the way, I recognize that I spent $500 a month basically at I'm not going to name what coffee shop. And
what?
$6,000 a year I was spending on coffee. And honestly, look at how much that is. That's like $16, $17 a day. That was like 2 drives drive-throughs with like lattes
Well,
and maybe a
sometimes we
treat
buy
for
other
one of my
people's
kids. Yeah. And it's like that.
Thanks, Adam.
Anyway, but that was just one thing. So I was spending incredible amounts of money on coffee, incredible amounts of money on skincare, incredible amounts of money on makeup. And truly, I didn't realize it because like, it just seems like, oh, it's just another $100 or it's just a product for $50. So, well, I needed blush. Or, well, I need a new mascara. I needed this. And then you come home and you try this product and it doesn't really work. So you're like, well, I don't really like that color. I have to go buy another one. And the amount of investment that I continuously kept spending on all of these things, I mean, my bathroom was full. And I don't think I'm wrong when I say that majority of us are like that we go into Sephora or like places and that we come home with extensive amounts of product that's really nicely labeled, that's in cute little boxes that
Made us feel good.
that made us feel good in the heat of the moment, but really doesn't do much for skin, for health, for anything, and really not really what we wanted to do for the way that we look or that we feel. So that was a huge realization
In fairness,
for me.
Sephora and even Walmart, all these guys are trying hard. They are
to put in clean and natural.
Shout out to them for that.
Well, yes, but seriously, the other day I went there, which is my absolute nightmare, by the way. If I walk into a Sephora, I go in for 10 minutes. I need an hour just to regulate after. It's just, it smells. I mean, it's the toxins, right? It's the fragrance. And I was looking for, you talked about a blush. I was looking for a non-toxic blush. I was traveling and I had to find something. I forgot mine. And I had to chase. It was so hard to actually find one brand that I could kind of trust. And there was 2 in the whole store. That's it. So, I mean, they're trying, but it's not enough. So we got to keep putting pressure because it is not enough. And we have to start changing as consumers our behaviors, because if we keep buying this stuff, well, the makers are not going to change it. We have to ask for more. And trust me, I worked with L'Oreal. I worked at they are looking at these trends and they're looking at the numbers. And if they're seeing that the numbers are moving towards cleaner, quote unquote, brands, they're going to go there. They're going to follow the money. So we have to change our behaviors as consumers as well.
Yeah. And, we really, I think as women, we need to stop blaming other things. I feel like even now when I hear a woman has breast cancer or a woman has cancer, it's always so shocking to me. I'm always so shocked. But I actually looked up the stats and 1 in every 3 women will get breast cancer. That's
by 2030. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a frightening, statement, considering that 30 years ago, it was 1 in every 40 or 50. I mean, the numbers have exponentially grown in a very short period of time. And it can't just be all of a sudden we're just diagnosing them more often than not. That can't be the answer. So I think when we start to recognize that our decisions have consequences, long-term consequences, on not only things like the way that we look, the way that we feel, but also on the outcome of our lives. I want to live to see my kids graduate high school and get married and have little tiny babies and, live till I'm 100. Well, there's 6
That is sort of funny. Good comment.
Yeah, but it's all about longevity as well, right? Which is the conversation now. It's not just about lifespan, it's health span and toxins and toxicity. And we live in a toxic world, no question. And so we need to take ownership for, okay, I can't change the world we live on. I'm not going to live in a bubble. So what can I do? What choices can I make differently? How can I model this to my kids? How can I bring awareness also to this without making it the world is ending, we're all going to die, but really more listen, okay, and my kids, it's amazing. I see them just in the way now they look when we go shopping, the way they look at products. And I'm so proud of them. I'm like, wow, they're 7 and 10. I'm like, this is awesome that they know this stuff now. It took me so long to figure it out, but we have way more control than we think we have. So I'm grateful for women that like you that are like just going in the trenches and you're like, we're going to make it different. And before we close, I do want to talk about your glass container, because that's one of the reason why you're able to be preservative free so do you want to talk about that technology quickly? Because I think it's definitely worth bringing to people's
I'll
awareness.
just say one thing. I picked this bottle from the very beginning.
She did.
And yeah, I did. And got shut down because it is so expensive. And I agree,
Yeah.
like as what we call reverse design as a product cost, it is very expensive. We just really believed that if we made a bottle beautiful enough, people would keep it. And that you go back to the sustainability things. We've talked a lot about toxicity. We talked a lot about clean, but we haven't talked about sustainability. And for us, we wanted to make a bottle that really looked beautiful on your counter with your buddies when you went away. We wanted to make sure that the bottle didn't, the printing didn't come off of it. And so that's why we made refills. Refills are used everywhere in our daily lives now, and we have no problems with it, with our laundry, with our dish soap, etc. So we really thought, why can't it be a part of our everyday with our oil? So we made a refill, and then you could talk to the glass because you definitely, I sold her on it, so now she's a big advocate.
It's biophotonic glass. So we get our products manufactured, not our product, our packaging manufactured in Switzerland. It's biophotonic glass. It's violet glass that's super thick. It gets shipped to the US. We use organic ceramic ink printing. So it's printed and baked into the glass.
So it doesn't come off.
So it doesn't come off. You don't have that same issue as, your ugly refill bottle on your counter because it's in a humid space in your bathroom. But really, this whole project for us started as a passion project because of 2020, because we wanted to find a different way where we didn't feel compelled to keep making poor choices on our health because of what we continuously keep being told. And we've really, it's passion for us for all of this. And the bottle was the sort of the tie to that little package, because we wanted to take this product and we didn't want to put preservatives in it. So yeah, we spent the money on the glass.
We spent the money.
So that makes basically, when you have that glass, UV light doesn't come through, and so therefore it's not affecting the quality of the product.
No, it doesn't penetrate through, and we use a locking feature of a pump, which is also made out of glass. So there's no oxidization to the product. So once the product has been
put into
the bottle and it's been locked, the product is preserved and it's safe to use. And that's how we get away without putting any other crap in it.
Nice. And do you need to wash it in between your refills?
I would suggest so.
I would suggest so, yes.
Just sanitize it in your dishwasher.
Yeah.
And it'll look just as beautiful coming out.
Nice. That's good to know. Okay. One last question, because I want to honor both of your time. This is the question. Would you eat it? Would you eat your facial concentrate?
I actually eat it all the time because I do. I know you don't know this, but I do. Because I use it on my lips.
Yeah.
We did make a tinted balm just for fun, and for sure you put that on your lips. But once we did that, I was like, well, why don't I just use my actual? Yeah. So I do. I put it on my lips, and so I for sure am eating it.
Yeah, it's all natural ingredients. There's nothing. I would eat it. I mean, my daughter has some.
Do you want us to eat it?
No, because it's it is the ultimate question. We should only put on our skin stuff because it's nourishment, things that we would eat.
Good question, Vanessa. Yeah. Good question. Was not ready for that at all, but oddly, I had an answer.
It is the best question, but I'm so glad you're saying I would, because that means you trust also what's in it. And Yeah. So that's the way it should be. And I'm not saying we need to eat essential oils and things like that. I'm not saying that, but you know what I mean? Like it is safe enough and it is clean enough that you wouldn't freak out if, your child licked you after you or your pets or whatever. Right.
But I mean, for the record, my 4-year-old does have a bottle that she keeps beside her bed and she uses it all the time on her face. It's her nighttime routine. It's actually really cute. I posted a video a few days ago because my kids are obsessed over the rollers that I put in the freezer. So they're constantly asking. They just love to sit back and just have
But now don't talk about the roller if it's not available to purchase. You're teasing us.
It's not available yet, but it will be available.
Well, maybe by the time this airs, maybe it'll be out.
Available.
Enisa's teaser. See?
Yeah.
Marketing blood's coming back.
No.
I was going to say.
Yeah. Well,
but we have some people that say that the product puts them to sleep. And then we have other people that tell us the product wakes them up in the morning. I'm really confused by this, like how it can do both, but it can.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a strong believer of intentions when you put it on. So there's something that goes with that, right? Whatever you put your mind to, then it comes to life. So, we're going to put a link where people are going to be able to look at the product and purchase it. But I want to hear it from you. If people want to dive into the world of your brand, where can they find you, and also both of you personally?
Oh, well, personally, that's a whole nother podcast because I'm not on social media anymore.
So that's perfect. Then that's done.
So personally, I used to personally have Michelle Gault as my handle on Instagram. But
if you want to talk to Michelle answers her Instagram more often than not.
Yeah, clean face.
We're actually both really, really involved in every part of our business. You can
find Enisa
at Enisa Phipps.
Yep. Because she has a new married name, but she used to be Enisa Hot, which was perfect for skincare, to be honest. Like, how great of a
don't you dare changing your name. What the heck? This is perfect.
This happened. This happened. She changed it. Yeah. And then you can find us www.cleanface.ca.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we're in retailers.
Yep. You can find us on our stockist list on our website. There's some exciting ones that are coming out, and we've had such great acceptance from the beauty world and the non-beauty world, because I think people really, really are excited to do something different that's quick and easy, and especially for moms. I think,
going back to that one step that you spoke about, or one thing you said, do one thing. That's what I always say to everyone. If they ask me, I always say, just do one thing for me. Just replace your moisturizer with this.
Yeah, exactly.
And then what I find is, especially between like 6-8 months, they'll come back to me and say, I replaced my cleanser, I replaced my toner, I just wash my face with a cloth and use this. And I'm always like, yay.
Yeah.
But if I push that from the beginning, I find a lot of hesitation. So I do the same thing that you were talking about, Vanessa. One thing, do one thing,
Yeah. And I like, swapping the moisturizer. That's easy to remember, easy, plug in, plug out. Awesome.
You have a 12-step program. You can swap out just moisturizer.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And there's so much freedom in that too. And just imagine, just picture for a second, your bathroom counter, your cabinet, like just imagine your pharmacy, just imagine like clearing that and just like, oh, it feels so good. Less is more. That's always that's the key. I think also one of the reasons why probably it's been so well accepted is, we are suckers for good stories, and you guys are like friends that created this beautiful product with a good intention, and you are literally creating it out of passion. You didn't need to do this. So I think that's also what makes this a really good story. High five. Yes. Thank you so much for your time. This was an incredible chat.
This was so fun.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. And we'll put all the links in the show notes so people can find you and start using Clean Face. Thank you.
Thank you.
The information shared on this podcast is for information purposes only and doesn't provide any medical advice. Vanessa Grotman does not cure, diagnose, or treat disease. Please consult your physician before trying any new protocol or product.